Before we get into the video, I need you guys to do me a favour. Number 1, like the video. Also comment, let me know your thoughts on the story. Think back to 2008. At 18 years old, Londoner and GM Danny Mclean had the whole nation struck with grief. Now infamous Danny Mclean is currently 32 years old, and he was granted parole after the Shine My 9 leader had fatally bladed Shakilus Townsend. Now, if you're familiar with Danny Mclean, then you know at 18 years old, he had used 15-year-old Samantha Joseph in a honey trap move to set up 16 years old Shakilus Townsend to be fatally and beaten with baseball bats in Thornton Heath in 2008. It was like a 6-on-1 incident. Now Shakilus Townsend made the grave mistake of falling in love with Samantha Joseph. He doted on her, cared for her, listened to her problems, and even told his mom Samantha was the one, he loved her. However, Samantha Joseph, who is actually a free woman after serving 10 years, was a manipulator. She played both teenagers, Shakilus and Danny, against each other. Now to sum it up, Samantha Joseph was in a relationship with 18-year-old Danny Mclean, who, according to the courts, was said to be the Shine My 9 leader. Samantha then started a relationship with Shakilus after he had pursued her a lot. And of course, Shakilus was from Deptford. And when Danny Mclean found out he dumped Samantha, Samantha was destroyed. She liked the appeal of being with an older man and also a GM who had a lot of friends, and she would use the fact that he was a known GM to boost her own reputation. She begged for forgiveness and explained she would do anything. Now Danny Mclean then explained that Shakilus had to pay, and that's how the honey trap was set in motion. So Samantha Joseph led Shakilus to a quiet cul-de-sac. All the while, as both Samantha and Shakilus boarded a bus and then walked down the street, she was texting Danny where they were and which direction they were heading to. At the cul-de-sac, Shakilus was surrounded. Danny Mclean and 5 other teenagers. Now Shakilus was struck from every angle. He had nowhere to run. Danny then stabbed Shakilus in the chest. A neighbour heard Shakilus scream out, and of course they chased the teenagers away. As Shakilus lay on the ground, he called out for his mom, and sadly Shakilus was pronounced dead soon after. Now as for the Shine My 9 gang, and Samantha and Danny himself, they laughed and joked while walking away. Now Danny Mclean was not remorseful. Being sentenced to a minimum of 15 years was meant that Danny would have ample time to manipulate another woman, and that would be a married mum of 4, prison officer Emma Beard, who was 31 years old. At 18 years old, Danny and Emma had established a relationship, which was forbidden. Now she would send him photos while he was housed at Feltham Young Offenders Institute. She even wrote Danny love letters and even had SE, and this was the man that was allowed to live his life in full after being given parole. Do you think that makes sense? Let me know in the comments. Stay safe.